It's yet another case of my mom's old piece of clothing being too big for me. So here I am, downsizing a suit. This time, with what I think is the best way to do it. I'm combining what I'd consider the right method with some easier shortcuts. If you are looking for the easiest of easiest methods, you can check out my other video about downsizing a suit, but stay here for the method that will give you the best results. So, here's what we're going to alter. The armholes, the side seams, and optionally the princess seams, both the front and the back ones. Since I have these welt pockets over the front princess seams, I'm not going to alter them, but here's the kind of curve that I would do. I'm starting by removing the lining on some places. There's a lot of different ways to do that, depending on how it's attached to the garment. If you find a hand-sewn seam, which is usually on one of the arms, you should unstitch it and turn everything on the wrong side by passing it through the hole. My lining is kind of weird, as you can see, so I'm just attaching the seams that I'm going to alter. And I did the same to the outer layer. I also removed the shoulder pads, or what was left of them. They're proof that this suit is old. I won't be, and you shouldn't either, touch anything close to the collar. Stay away from the collar. You also don't need to touch the sleeves hem. Also, it will help you later. Now, by wearing and pinning the jacket, you can define how much fabric and where you should take it from. I started by the width I wanted to remove from the jacket by marking it all on the side seams, and then I transferred one finger to the princess seams. This is how it works for me. Depending on your body shape, you should be transferring more than this or not even touch the princess seams. Here's one difference. Notice that it will transfer my sleeves a little bit to the back, which in my case isn't a problem, but be aware of that. Also, in most cases, this curve should be soft, so don't try to stop your new seam here, go all the way down or stop under the curve. Unless your shoulder blades are prominent, in that case you may like this curve to be pointier. Your clothes should be adapted to your body, not the other way around. And here is my way to make all these seams symmetric. I mark where I want my seam to be, add the seam allowance, and then cut the excess to be a template for the other side. And then it's just mindlessly sewing, trusting the process. Okay, this was the easy part, can you tell? Because it's now time for the armholes. You'd usually need to remove some width from the shoulders, and that's what I've done. I'm also making a new armhole silhouette based on the last step results, and using again the template trick. And now let's attach the sleeves. Are yours made of 2 pieces each, or just one? If it's just one, the only visible seam should line up with your side seam. If it's 2, it's a kind of more complicated scenario. One of the seams should be facing the back, and the other should be closer to the side seam, but it usually won't be lining up. Try to find some notches on the sleeves or on the armholes to help you. There should also be a notch on where the sleeve should meet the shoulder seam, and now I'm pinning it to exhaustion. Is there such a thing as too many pins? Yes, but in this case I think it's better to go as close to the limit as possible. If you're sewing very carefully, you could even surpass the limit by 1 pin or 2. Just protect your fingers. Now, try on your blazer. I make a lot of mistakes with sleeves. You should make sure they are correctly positioned. And only then, we should be moving on to the lining. Using the templates I made previously as guides, I'm just repeating on the lining what I've done to the outer layer. But now, the order should be different. First, you should sew the princess seams, take that out of the way, and then prepare yourself. Roughly pin the sleeves to the armholes. Since we didn't detach the sleeves from the lining, it should be easy to find the right way. And only then, like magic, we should be pinning and sewing the side seams. And then neatly pin and sew the sleeves to the armholes. And clean our sweat when it's finished. Okay, the hard part is gone. We'll just have to turn everything to the right side and finish the lining with a hand stitch. In my case, it's all these seams. In yours, it could be just that one on one of the arms. Then I tried on the jacket and realized that the sleeves were huge, so I had to shorten them. Since I had no patience left, I went on the easy route, just folding them in and unstitching. You can also unstitch the hem and cut the excess. But I actually like the structure this method gave. And we're finally done with the blazer. Now on to the skirt. I started by unstitching the waistband, not all of it, just the parts over the darts and the side seams. The front and back can stay attached. We're minimizing the work, so the furthest we stay from touching the back zipper, the better. Then, we just need to resew the darts and the side seams. I'm taking the precise measure of 1 index finger from each side seam and 1 pinky from each dart. I decided not to touch the front darts since they already looked nice on my stomach, but you can always change them as well. Always take the excess fabric from where there is an excess of fabric. I know that when said like this, it sounds very obvious, but everybody is different. So, if you have smaller hips and a more protruded butt, take less from the side seams and more from the back darts. If you have a more protruded belly, starting at the waist, try taking from the front darts and see how it feels and looks on you. Okay, going on. After altering the darts and side seams, it's time to do the same on the lining. One great thing about skirts is that the lining is so much more manageable than with jackets, so you don't need to do anything else. Now it's time to just reattach the waistband to the skirt by first cutting and resewing it where the side seam should fall, and then attach it to the skirt. Finally, sew the belt loops in place with a hand stitch and your skirt is done. If you're questioning, what about trousers? Are they the same steps? In most cases, they are. Usually, it's not necessary to touch the crotch, which is great, because that's a lot of work. So yeah, just follow the same steps for trousers, unless you're required to take a lot from your side seams, and there's pockets in the way. If that is your case, I will try to find a good tutorial for that and add it to the description. And finally, here I am with my new suit. Thank you a lot for watching. Bye! I always forget this part, but you shouldn't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, leave a like, and also follow me on Instagram if you like my content. The link is also in the description. Okay, that's it. Now I can say goodbye. For now. Until my next video. Yeah.